So I used my serger on the ruffles, on all 3 ruffles, finishing the raw edges. If you don't have a serger, you just have a sewing machine, you can fold the edges, and you're gonna have to finish both edges, this edge and this edge. So you can go ahead and fold that and then fold it again if you don't have a serger. But if you do use the serger, it's gonna make everything go way faster. And yeah, I finished all 3. So now I need a gathering stitch so we can make the ruffle. And I'm just gonna, I do back stitch in just one in the beginning, just so that way I can pull the thread and it's not gonna come undone on the other one, on the other end. So I'm using my longest stitch length, and the tension is on 1. Okay, so I'll pull a lot of it out, and then there's the gathering stitch. And all I'm gonna do now is pull it. Pull just one of the threads. And then you start gathering. So I'm gonna do that for the other 2 ruffles, and then we have to gather all of them and match it up with the diaper cover. Those lines that I drew on the diaper cover is where each ruffle is gonna have to be sewn into. So here's one ruffle. So I'm gonna do the other ones. So on one side of the ruffle, of the diaper cover, remember these lines I drew? Okay, so we're gonna have to match up each ruffle to those lines and then stitch them in, pretty much. So you kind of want to just measure this, making sure that it, you didn't gather too much, which I think I did. See, it doesn't match completely up, so I have to pull a little bit like that. So it has to go like this, and then just distribute the ruffles a little better. I'm gonna close. I'm gonna make a knot on this side. And then I'm gonna do that for all 3 ruffles, one by one. Don't pin them all and then go to the sewing machine, because you're gonna have a hard time trying to stitch through all of that. So I will pin. I don't pin because I don't like pins. I don't like pinning. I do just needle and thread, really like just roughly attach it and then stitch it in with the sewing machine and then remove, you know, the needle and thread. So I'll do that, and then I'm gonna do all that for all 3 ruffles, stitch them in, and then close the diaper cover. I'll show you. So here's all the ruffles all stitched in. I used a 2.5 stitch length, and then my tension was on 3, and it looks pretty good. So now step 2 would be, next step would be attaching the other diaper cover. So this is gonna go like this, and then we will stitch this like this along this side and along this side. We're gonna leave this open because right here is gonna be for the snaps. And then, so right now I'm gonna go to the sewing machine and stitch this side and this side at a half an inch seam allowance. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. All right, I did use the serger again to finish the raw edges. Now we're gonna do the bias tape, which will go along the leg. And I don't have bias tape, so I have to make my own. And really all you do, very simple. I'm doing single fold bias tape. So all you need is an inch of So all you need is to cut an inch width, and then you can make it as long as you want. And then with the iron, you're gonna iron this halfway in and then this halfway in, and press that with the iron, and then that's your bias tape. So you just press that with the iron all the way, and that's how you make bias tape. So I'm gonna go through that. Okay, I pressed it with the iron. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this, fold this a little bit in, like, I don't know, what is that, like a fourth gonna stitch this on the leg, starting right here, and then I'm gonna line this up right here, and then with the folded side up and with the right fabric out, that's this way. We're gonna line up the raw edges of the bias tape with the raw edges of the diaper cover, and we're gonna stitch all along this bottom line, all around the leg. When I get to this end, I'm gonna fold it in the way I folded it this way. So I'm gonna go stitch that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's stitched in already. See, with the right side up of the fabric, I stitched this in opened on this side. So now what you have to do is just fold it on itself like this, and then fold it in. And that's gonna be the channel for the elastic. You do it all around. I remembered when I was sewing, I didn't have to fold the raw edges in because I forgot about the snap panel is gonna go on here, so it's gonna cover that part anyway, so there's no need to fold. So I'm gonna go stitch this closed like this all around the leg, and then I'm gonna do the same for the other leg hole. This is what it looks like now. It has the elastic, and then you want to stitch the elastic secure so it doesn't, you know, oh, excuse me. So then for the snap panels, you want to iron half an inch in, iron that in for both pieces. Half an inch in, half an inch in, and then you're gonna grab your diaper cover. You're gonna face the wrong side towards you, and then pretty side together like this. And then you want to stitch this right in the middle. It doesn't matter that it has all this leftover fabric on the side. You're gonna trim that, but for now we're gonna stitch this to this like that, just like that, with half an inch seam allowance. So now we're gonna stitch right through here. So you want to fold this on itself with this fold also. And then we're gonna stitch this side and this side. And you're gonna do that for both of the crotch areas. Okay, so I stitched it. So then you want to trim this part. And then this part, be careful with your stitches. And then ta-da! So for this not to move, you have to stitch that down. So stitch this right here at the edge on both panels. And obviously stick that in there. And then stitch that right here for the bottom. Okay, so I did the gathering stitch, and I pulled and gathered just the way you do the ruffles, and you want to gather this to match up the bodice. And I measured this before I put the elastic, and I measured 13 inches. So I want this to be 13 inches too. So I'm gonna have to whiten this up. Right up there. And then that's what's gonna end up looking like. So then once you get it to where you need it to, you want to measure this one more time. So then you want to, I'm gonna tie this so it doesn't move anymore. Get this out of the way. Then I'm gonna distribute all of the gatherings. Okay, now I'm gonna turn this inside out. My ruffles are right here. And then I'm gonna insert this in there, facing the raw edge up with this raw edge. So just make sure you put it the right side. So there's no ruffles right here, so that's where the word 1 is gonna be facing. So the main is gonna be facing the part that has no ruffles. So pretty side facing the other pretty side, like that. And then the ruffles facing the back elastic. So now that it's in there, you wanna match the seams. So here's the side seam, and then I'm gonna find this side seam and then match that up together. You can pin it if you want, and then match this seam with the other seam. It's right here, like that. See how you have that gap right there? And that's because of the elastic. So while I'm stitching that, I'm gonna pull it so it can match the rest of the diaper cover. So I'm gonna use the serger to finish it. I think I'm gonna run it first through the sewing machine, and then I'm gonna use the serger in the end to finish the seams. And I'll take you with me. It's finished. Finish everything with the serger. this is what it looks like. And the front, and then the back. Little ruffle butt. And then what you do with these go crisscross. So you put one in here, and then the other one in here. Collect that. And then you will make a little bow right here. The pattern comes with an option of doing the loops or buttons. But I mean, if you do the loops, you can adjust the size. And then that's the back. Look how cute it looks. It's so funny, like I made it for no one. And it's crazy, like I wonder whose baby it's gonna end up on, you know? Here's the snaps. Change the diaper. Close it back up. I should have put interfacing on this part so it could have been more stiff. But, oh well, next time. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I know it's probably a long ass video, but it is what it is. I mean, it takes time. All right.